I'm Dana and this is Kelly, and we're going to go over some techniques for working at a table with a student. Now, coming into this, I have some prior assumptions already made. One is that there's been a reinforcer preference assessment conducted. So I know Kelly's my student. I know what she likes. I know what's most likely going to reinforce her behavior. She likes tic-tacs. She likes high fives, songs, a lot of social praise. Other students may prefer food items, toys. I don't have a lot of that here, so Kelly, you like tic-tacs today?
Yes.
All right. What you want is at least, at a minimum, 5 different items that the student enjoys to work for. So make sure you have a really good preference assessment so that you have a lot of options to give the student as you're working. The other assumption that's being made is that a skill assessment is already conducted. I know Kelly's skill level, I know what she can do, what she can't do, I know where my targets are, and I know what kind of skills to pull in that are very easy, that are simple for her, that she's really good at to help build her success level and fluency rate. I also have a list, speaking of that, I have a list of high probability skills, which are the easy skills, the skills that she's most likely to do when asked to do. And these are hypothetical, but let me see if I can show you an example. And normally a list like this would be posted behind the student, so that as the instructor, all I need to do is look up, especially if Kelly's having a rough day, I can look up and say, okay, Kelly knows how to do gross motor imitation, so I'm going to do that to give her some success. For now, I'm going to leave it on the table for reference. The other thing I have a list of, since I've already done her skill assessment, is target skills. And Kelly's target skills that she's working on today is sorting, imitation of 2-step gross motor actions, such as clapping hands and touching head, and following 2-step instructions. And again, same with the high probability skills, something like this would be posted behind the student. So as an instructor, I can quickly at any time look up and assess what I can pull into the session to keep her going. I'm also assuming that I've already paired myself with Kelly, so she's not running from me screaming when I show up, which is a good thing. It's what you want. If the kids are running and screaming from you, you need a different instructional video. And the last thing I'm assuming is that some kind of behavior management plan is in place. So if she decides to engage in any kind of escape behavior or other maladaptive behavior, I have a specific plan to follow when those behaviors occur. So those are our basic assumptions for today. Now, the preparation of the work area, I want to have everything ready before I call Kelly over, before I have her working with me. And you need to keep in mind that I'm doing this at a table for training's sake, because it's a little easier to work with somebody at the table. But your work area may be in the play area, it may be during circle time, it could be on the floor, it could be in the playroom, dining room, anywhere. You know, some students work at tables, some students work in the natural environment. So, but coming into that, you want to make sure you have your reinforcers ready. So Kelly loves tic-tacs. I got my tic-tacs ready. I know she likes high fives and everything else, so I've got all that prepared in my head to use. I also have my list of easy skills, or my high priority items, high probability skills that she can do. I have my list of targets that I know I'm working on. Any data collection I'll be taking, I have that available, and a pen that works. And I have a plan. I have an idea because everything's right in front of me of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. You don't want to go to the table unsure of how you're going to proceed as soon as the student sits down. So everything's ready. The last thing I have in place is I have an idea in my head of what variable ratio of reinforcement I'm going to be using with her. I'm not going to get into that at first. We'll touch on that later on. So let's say Kelly was out playing and stuff, everything's set, I'm ready to go, kind of move myself over a little. And I call Kelly over to the table. The first thing I'm going to do is provide her with an opportunity demand. because I want her to learn that coming over here to quote-unquote work with me is fun, it's a good time, it doesn't mean that bad things happen. Because most likely I'm taking her from a preferred activity to what could be a non-preferred activity. So as Kelly's here, I know also that she likes coloring, so I might offer, now that you're here, do you want a tic-tac or do you want to color?
Tic-tac.
All right. I give her a tic-tac and she has her tic-tac. So now my area is a fun place. It's a nice place. She comes here, she gets stuff. The next thing I'm going to do is start with the easy skills, the high probability skills. Because I also want to teach her that when she comes over here, not only is it a place that you can get good stuff, but it's also a place that you're going to have a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun place to be. I'm going to ask you to do things you know how to do. So I'm going to go through a couple of the easy skills, and these you can all do.
Okay.
So I'll go through some imitation. Do this. Do this. Say mom.
Mom.
So I went through about 3 easy skills. The next thing I'm going to do is try one of my target skills, because now I've built up her behavior momentum. She's responding. She knows things are going to be pretty easy. She's more likely to work with me now on the harder skills. And you can do more than 3. Now, I just did 3 for demonstration purposes. So the target skill I'm going to do is following a 2-step instruction. I know this is a hard skill for Kelly. This is something that we're just working on. So I'm going to use errorless learning to teach the skill, which means I'm going to give the instruction, then I'm going to provide a prompt to help her through it the first time. What I don't want to do is I don't want her to keep getting errors and doing things incorrectly, because then she's going to practice doing things incorrectly. So I'm going to start straight from the get-go, making sure she knows exactly what I want. So my 2-step is a 2-step instruction. Yeah, my 2-step instruction. I said, hey, Kelly, stand up and turn around. Might do a light physical. I'll do some modeling. And I'll sit. So in that instance, I provided her a light prompt by touching her elbow to get her up, and I modeled the behavior. So the first time I gave the instruction, I prompted. I'm going to give the instruction again, and I'm going to fade my prompt. So this time I'm just going to maybe touch her elbow to get her going. Stand up and turn around. And Kelly did much better that time with less prompting. Now, I don't want to frustrate her, because we all know how frustrating it is to have somebody, telling us what to do all the time and having to show us when tasks are really hard. So now I'm going to go back to the easy skills that Kelly knows how to do. And I know she also knows how to do imitation with objects. So I'm going to do a couple easy skills. Ready? Do this. Do this. Say hello.
Hello.
Stand up and turn around. After I did the couple of easy skills, I came back to that original instruction that was a little bit difficult. Now, Kelly did great on that. So what that shows me is my teaching procedure, prompting her through it and fading the prompt worked. She's learned that skill, at least for right now, but we will come back to it later. If she would have had difficulty with it, I would have gone through the whole sequence again and prompted her through it again. Now, at the end of the session, I'm going to make sure I give her an opportunity to demand. So we'll do a couple more easy skills. Do this. Match. Match. Do this. And Kelly, which would you like? Would you like another tic-tac or to color?
Tic-tac.
You can have another tic-tac. There you go. So I'm ending the session with an opportunity to demand, not with go play, because I don't want to teach her that getting away from me is a good thing, or that getting away from me is reinforcing.
Right.
But that she can be successful at the table, she can do this work, and I'm going to give her some nice reinforcement for it. Now, I talked a little bit about airless learning. And I have some stuff printed out here so that we could go through. I talked about how you present the instruction, prompt right away. Present the instruction again, start to fade the prompt. Then go to maybe 2 to 5 easy skills. Now these are skills that are not prompted, skills that I know Kelly can do without any kind of problems whatsoever. Because I need to reduce her frustration, I need to increase her success level and get her responding to me again. Then I come back to the original instruction and try to fade that prompt a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go through just the airless learning procedure again. And let me see, what target? We'll do a 2-step imitation for our target behavior. So the one that Kelly is going to err on will be do this, which is 2-step imitation, clap, and touch head. So you're going to have a lot of difficulty with that today.
Okay.
Again, same thing, running the session. I'm going to start with easy skills. I know also that Kelly can identify a lot of things. I have a poo book. Okay. Kelly, where's Rabbit? Good. And who's this?
Pooh.
Good. Do this. It's difficult, so I'm going to prompt a little bit. Okay. Do this. Did it twice. I'm going to, I won't make you do the whole puzzle.
Okay.
There you go. Put these pieces back in for me. Do this. Do this. Now I notice Kelly's not quite getting it this time. I left a couple second delay to see if she would get it. I need to jump in quickly and prompt her through it again, and I'm going to go through the whole sequence again. Do this. Do this. Do this. Do this. And you got it. And she gets it that time around. I may need to repeat that sequence a couple of times. It does feel odd when you're doing it, just to let you know. It is something that you have to practice that becomes second nature once you get into it, because you may have 3 or 4 different behaviors rotating through this.
Right.
So say Kelly's having a bad day and now her easy skills have become hard skills. I could have 2 or 3 loops going at the same time, which can get confusing. At that point, I would do the procedure maybe 2 or 3 times, find something she can do. Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's as simple as do this. Great. Would you like a tic-tac or to color or high five?
High five.
Woo, nice, Kelly. Good work today.
Thanks.
So I'm just trying to find something that she can do so I can end on a man, kind of regroup, and figure out where to go next, because something's not transferring in my teaching procedure. So
Right. Re-engage him.
right, and Kelly doesn't need to do anything as the student. It's my job to teach her these new skills. So I need to figure out what's wrong and some maybe different ways to approach it. But I always want to end on a good note, always want to end on a mand, opportunity demand, some kind of reinforcer. And I always want that to follow an independent response. So if you notice, I didn't reinforce Kelly after I had to prompt her. I waited till I got a nice, independent, unprompted response. And that's what you want to go for. Now, I talked a little bit in the beginning about variable ratios of reinforcement, your VR. This is probably one of the most important things when running a session. And what the VR tells you is I'm going to give you the opportunity to demand after approximately an average of every X number of correct responses. So perhaps Kelly's VR is 5. So after an average of 5 independent correct responses, unprompted responses, she's going to get a reinforcer. Now, what this may look like is she may get a correct, and then need a few prompts, and then a few more corrects, and then a couple more prompts, and then a correct, and then I reinforce. You know, the next time around, she may get 3 corrects in a row, and I reinforce. Third time around, she may need prompted right off the bat, because maybe she wasn't paying attention. So she may have prompt, correct, prompt, correct, prompt, correct, and then prompt, and then possibly another correct or 2, and then I reinforce. What I'll need to figure out is that on an average of 5 correct responses, is she getting the opportunity demand? And that's going to be really important, because what happens in a lot of therapy sessions is something called ratio strain, where I'm expecting way too much out of you. And your work is the correct responses. The student's work is those correct responses, just like putting in your time at work. Now, if you're expected to work a 40-hour week for, say, X number of dollars, and that's your ratio. You work 40 hours, you get the X number of dollars. Now, let's say I'm expecting you to work 80 hours for that same payoff. Not gonna fly. I mean, would
It's
you work for that?
undesirable.
Right, it's undesirable. It's going to make you lose attention, probably do worse work,
Frustration,
frustrated.
perhaps
work.
elope from it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's going to be aversive. But that's what happens in a lot of sessions. We keep expecting more and more and more from the students for the same pay. So to change your VR, what you do is you gradually increase it and systematically increase it. But you need to make sure that you know what the VR needs to be for each student. I've worked with some students that they're on a VR 2. Others, VR 25. It all depends what they can work, what level of output, what level of responding they can do compared to the level of reinforcement they're getting. So their effort has to match what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if I was asking Kelly to do a lot more work, I would probably have much bigger reinforcers here. I may even have a game that she likes, so she actually gets a couple-minute break in between mini sessions, and so on. So I'd like to switch places with you.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you be the instructor, and I'll make sure all the notes are here. So probably the most important one will be the session notes, because this will walk you through. Begin with a manned opportunity, do easy skills, and then enter a hard skill.
Okay, I'm assuming your hard skills are the same as mine.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yep, I'm the same student, I just look different.
Okay.
So I have the same reinforcers as you and everything.
Okay.
So it's just the student.
Okay. Dana, clap.
Start with a reinforcer.
Okay. Sorry.
I just came to the table.
I know.
I like Tic Tacs too.
Tic Tac or crayon?
I want a color.
Good job.
And now the easy skills.
Okay. Dana,
1, 2 to 3.
clap.
Imitation or receptive? And this is actually good because this is going to hit a lot of other things too.
Okay.
Receptive is me following an instruction. So if it's receptive, I need to just listen to your voice. So receptive would be clap.
Okay.
Imitation is either like that or do this, because do this kind of cues me in that I need to do what you do.
Okay. Do this. Say mom.
Mom,
Say hello.
hello.
Put the cup in the cup. Good job. Crown or tic tac.
Tic Tac.
Good job.
So that was a series of easy skills followed by an opportunity to demand, which is absolutely wonderful to start with. Really nice thing to start with the kids. Sets the stage.
Right.
So now do maybe 2 easy skills and then introduce a hard one.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have you go through the errorless process.
Where's the owl? Good job. What's that?
don't know what that is. It's a gopher.
It's a gopher? I thought it was a rabbit.
It's a gopher. But I can read it too, so.
Good job. Now, stand up and turn around. Stand up, turn around. Good job.
I needed help with that, so you need to give the instruction again
Okay,
because you prompted me.
okay. Dana, stand up and turn around. Good job.
Now I'm kind of getting it, but now you have to do some easies and then come back to it again.
Okay. Put the pieces in the bustle. Nice work, Dana. Put the cup inside the cup. Say, Mom.
Mom,
Good job.
give me my instructions.
Stand up.
And you're going to do it again, but this is a receptive skill, so this time just say it.
Okay, stand up and turn around.
And give me about a 2-second breather there to see if I do it. And I'm getting there. Okay, so maybe do one easy skill in the end.
Okay. Now stand up and turn around.
And that would be a great one for reinforcement because I
Good.
did it.
Tic tac or crayon? Tic tacs. Thank you.
Now, how'd that feel with the arrowless?
It took some practice.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It does feel funny.
Yep.
It does. It
You
is
have
a
to.
procedure.
You do have to think about it, and it does take some. You have to run through it a little bit.
And what about mixing the easy and the hard skills?
That was when I knew what you preferred. That was not as hard. It was more so understanding, being able to separate from when I'm asking you to do something, when I'm asking you to imitate something, versus when I'm in the proper time to reinforce it.
And so the different types of skills we have, first of all, I have imitation. Imitation is where you're watching me, you do what I do.
Mhm.
And most of the times that's forwarded by do this, because that kind of cues you in. It's kind of a, hello, you got to do something here. So
Right.
do this, and that's clean imitation. If I want to do a receptive skill, where you're listening and following directions, I'm just going to say, clap hands. So I didn't show it that time. I said it. You had to comprehend what I was saying and do it. Echoics is when you repeat what I say.
Mhm.
So if I do say hello,
Hello.
exactly. Imitation, receptive, echoics, matching. Matching I've seen done a couple different ways. Probably the easiest, oops, oh I don't need 4 cups out here.
Mm-mm.
So I have my items on the table and I'm just gonna ask Kelly match. If she's having problems with that, as a prompt, I can say put with the cup. But what I really want her to do here is be able to look at an item she's given and visually discriminate, you know, between everything else that's laid out in front of her, that this is the item that visually matches the other item. You know, for example, if you get ketchup out of the refrigerator, think of all the bottles that look like ketchup bottles. The dressings, the mustard, mayonnaise, everything else. You have to visually discriminate amongst all those things and find the ketchup.
Mhm.
So what I would start is something like this if these were 2, say, ketchup bottles. Start with matching to make sure that you can visually discriminate. And the matching program would eventually lead to a receptive program where now I know you visually can discriminate and know what that kind of looks like and how to match it with other items. Now I'm going to just give an instruction, touch the cup. So I know when Kelly hears cup now, auditorily, She understands that this item is a match for the auditory word cup. Then I'm going to transfer it to what's called a tact, which is labeling. So what is this?
Cup.
So now she can label it. So she knows that her vocalization matches what this item is. And I'm going to hide the cups to transfer to an intraverbal, which is a conversation skill. So Kelly, what do you drink from?
A cup.
A cup. And so there I've gone from matching to receptive to tact to intraverbals. Ready for that one? But that lays all them out a little bit, and I think that's good for now.
Okay.
At least to start.
Mhm.
Thank you.